Nolan Xavier Wells, 18 years old, gone too soon. Mississippi, y'all got some explaining to do. Mississippi, need to release that report. Low down, dirty ass Mississippi. What you hiding? Why you not talking? Why the hell you not saying a damn thing? Talk. I pray the family get a real answers. And no, we the people won't go away. Never, hell no, not today. Mississippi, the Most High gonna really deal with you. July 4th lights, boat ride with the crew. Young King Nolan chasing dreams, Ocean Springs through and through. Horn Island called his name, he relaxing in the blue. 2 days later found on the sand. What happened to you? Independent autopsy dropped, but it's undetermined. Red mark on the back of the head, neck structures missing. Absurd. State sitting quiet, toxicology on the shelf. Family screaming for truth, but y'all protecting yourself. Nolan was a star athlete with a future bright. Now his mama crying every single night. Boating trip turned nightmare. Questions in the air. Who was on that island? Why the silence there? Mississippi, need to release that report. Low down, dirty ass Mississippi. What you hide? Why you not talking? Why the hell you not saying a damn thing? Talk. I pray the family get real answers. And no, we the people won't go away. Never, hell no, not today. Mississippi, the Most High gonna really deal with you. Grand jury waiting, but the people still fighting. No severe trauma, they say, but the story don't add up clean. Ways whispering secrets, covering up the scheme. Young black man gone, another one in the South. History repeating, time to open your mouth. What you hiding in them files? Why the delay? Transparency dying, why the family pray? Nolan's light was shining, future snatched away. Now the whole world watching what Mississippi say. We marching, we posting, we demanding justice loud for every mother losing sons behind that murky cloud.
I pray the family get real answers.
No more games, no more lies.
No more games, no more lies.
Nolan deserved better, the truth never dies. From the island to the courtroom, we standing tall. Mississippi,
Your reckoning,
gon' come.
one and all.
Finding all. Mississippi, need to release that report. Release it now, release it now, release it now. Need to release that report. Mississippi, what you hiding? Why you not talking? Why the hell you not saying a damn thing? I pray the family get a real answer. No, we the people won't go away. Never, hell no, not today, not today. Mississippi, Most High gonna really deal with you. For Nolan Wells, we won't go away. Release the report. Justice now.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your second dose of your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, so let's see who's all in here. All right, Nalon is here. D Major, Lillian X, Mel. All right, let's get into it. Pearly, Pretty Wings, K the Goddess. 44, Roddy is here. All right, 27, DD, Truth Brown. All right, everybody hit that like button. Thank you in advance. Doesn't cost you a thing. Okay. So that all being said, I don't plan to be here long, beloveds. Just so you know. Nellen says, "Get some tomato. Got some tomatoes today, hitting somebody." Well, I hope it's not me, beloved. Thanks for the warning, nonetheless. Okay, and for your contribution to the channel, I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Not tomatoes. Okay. Hey, Cherokee Descendant Dale. All right, and let's get ready to get into it. DJ, The Truth TV. Marie James is here. All right, Melania or Melanina. I'm sorry, Melanina. Emperor Rex, Youngish Turnip. Tange is here. Tangi. And with that all being said, excuse me, with that all being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's have a brief word from my sponsor. Okay. I see you, Chike Hiru. FBA Insight Channel is here. All right. Okay, here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find her products at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil. Okay, so let's get into it, honey, because what is really going on here? What is really going on here? Listen, these people are so nefarious. Now, the funny thing is, they're doing everything that points to them being guilty, okay? Everything, in my opinion. Now, when the whole incident first happened and Nolan was missing, Judge Ashley Cole comes out and gives this statement trying to clear Warren, okay? I mean, they just start doing all this crazy stuff, moving real crazy and sketchy, right? And then after they find out that Ben Crump's going to release the independent autopsy, well, this a day or two before, they go and do that interview with Brandon Tater Tot. Okay, Warren and Tristan. Now we have Bart, whose name has suddenly become a thing. And so now he comes out, he's talking about he's going to sue people and all this. But now he's coming out just, I guess, trying to give us all the tea, trying to clear himself, but he's making himself look crazy. Okay, that's what they all are doing. Okay, that's what they all are doing. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Now, he said he gave the police everything. That's what he said. So let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about the statement from his attorney. Ex-teammate of Nolan Wells takes steps to sue influencer over online accusations. We already know about all of that, but they go on to say Russ Latino, the lawyer and the CEO of the nonprofit news publication Magnolia Tribune, announced that he was representing Edmiston in a Facebook post, alleging that defamatory statements are putting Bart, his family, and friends in harm's way. God darn it, they're victims, people. Latino sent out the first of what he says will be multiple cease and desist demands today, demanding an apology and correction from influencer Kimbra Lee, who has more than 200,000 followers on Facebook and Instagram. Well, that's what I was going to say, that he might as well have sent out cease and desist first, because when you have this kind of issue, you're supposed to send out a cease and desist first and then give the person the opportunity to take down the footage. Okay? Now, an apology is what I wouldn't be giving. Okay? I wouldn't be giving that. So anyway, a U.S. park ranger found 18, okay, we know all of that. So he actually is honed in on someone online. That's very interesting. I knew it wasn't going to be me. Please pay attention. Now, they say, though the circumstances and cause of Wells' death remain unclear, speculation has spread across social media platforms, with many users accusing multiple people, okay, of many of Wells' friends. They were not his friends. I really wish they would stop calling them that. You see, I like it better with the article, or with one article that I read, they referred to him as a former teammate, not a friend, okay, because none of them were his friend. Anyway, it goes on to say with many accusing multiple of Wells's friends and their family members of being involved in his death or having racist motives. And what's your point? Okay, why wouldn't they? So, and here's the thing, that is not a threat. Okay, if somebody says that, that's not a threat. That's just their opinion. Okay, so anyway, it goes on to say, said those kinds of accusations, this is what his lawyer said, those kind of accusations have endangered his client's safety. Bart received a credible death threat yesterday because of some of the made-up speculation on his on the other sites. Now the FBI, state and local law enforcement are all being activated. That's what he says. A credible threat. That's interesting. Now here's the cease and desist. Let's get into it because you have been warned, people. This is just a way to scare people. You see what he's done here is he's picked out one person, probably the first video that he saw, clearly picked out one person and wants to try to set an example, thinking if I put this on them, everybody's going to shut up. But no, we're not. Okay, because I really don't care about cease and desist because I'm not going to say anything that's defamatory, libel, or slanderous anyway because I know how to choose my words carefully. But what I will say is a whole lot of my opinion, okay, and a whole lot of speculation to boot. Now, with that all being said, it says this was via certified mail to last known address. Okay, this was sent July the 29th. So it was just sent today. Now, here's the thing. I want you all to pay attention. This was just sent today. Now, I'm inclined to think that they only went and found this after people were talking trash online about that other article that came out earlier, because you know there were some lawyers online. There were some lawyers online said that he doesn't know the process. Someone called him a Timu lawyer and said, doesn't he know that you're supposed to send out a cease and desist first? And then that's what you're supposed to do, because I've been sent one before. Okay, by wig number one. And it didn't stop a thing because I'm still talking about wig till this day. Okay, I went in on her lawyer. But anyway, I'm just saying, he didn't know that. I don't think he knew it. I think that maybe what he thought, he surely had to know. It can't be that dumb, right? But he likely thought that just putting the threat out there was going to frighten people. I believe that's what he thought. That just putting the threat out there would frighten people and everyone would shut the hell up and not say anything else about Bart. But let me tell you something, honey. I'm still going to go in on you, Bart. Okay, I think you're absolutely guilty and I think you're nefarious, period. Now, that all being said, let's continue because it goes on to say, dear Miss Lee, I have been retained to represent Bart Edmonston Jr., a Mississippi resident, in a response to numerous false and defamatory statements you have published on social media channels under your control, okay, including but not limited to Facebook and Instagram channels operating under the name of Kimbra Lee. We have also determined two potential aliases, including Susan Speezer and Lauren David. Now, this correspondence serves as a formal demand that you immediately cease your unlawful conduct, preserve all evidence relating to your publications, retract and correct your false statements, and take immediate steps to mitigate the substantial damages your actions have caused and will continue to cause. This is classic. Okay, imagine that. He's the victim. Bart, you were on the boat. We know you were on the boat. We heard them. Okay. And now we all clearly know because that's why you had to give the police information and all of that. And your name was on the Coast Guard receipt or report. So anyway, goes on to say allegedly. All right. So it goes on to say that she's going to have to mitigate the substantial damages her actions have caused and will continue to cause. Please read this letter carefully. If you are represented by counsel, please have him or her contact me at their earliest convenience. Like it is so serious. Child, please. Now, okay, he sounds crazy to me when he's talking about preserve evidence. What evidence? The video footage is the evidence clearly. So if you've seen the video footage, then just record it, download it, whatever you have to do. What are you talking about? So anyway, goes on to say this correspondence serves as a formal demand that you immediately cease your unlawful conduct, preserve all evidence relating to your publications, retract and correct your false statements, and take immediate steps to mitigate the substantial damages your actions have caused. Oh, I'm sorry. I already read that part. Nothing contained herein constitutes a complete statement, okay, of Mr. Edmonston's factual or legal positions. He expressly reserves all rights and remedies available under Mississippi law and any other applicable jurisdiction. Now, we also have submitted or are in the process of submitting information to the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's offices for the Southern District of Mississippi and the Eastern District of Louisiana, Attorney General's offices in Mississippi and Louisiana, and local law enforcement in Jackson County, Mississippi, and Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, to determine if your conduct violates federal or state criminal laws that prohibit cyber stalking and harassment. So, do you hear this? He's not doing any of this. I promise you. Okay? I would be so shocked and appalled. Do you all hear this? Trying to see if it violates federal laws. So you're trying to give somebody a Fed case over a social media post? Did she threaten his life? Yes. Do you all hear this? Now, this credible threat that he got, how come they're not having all this smoke for that person, whoever that is? Because don't they have ways of finding these things out? This is a desperate attempt, okay, to change the narrative. As I keep telling you, wanting to play the victim, but you're not the victim, Bart. Okay, and we're going to still go in on you, please. And if you're getting threats, well, that's too bad, but you can afford bodyguards and security. You're rich. Okay? Now, your repeated doxing efforts that have included publishing his address, pictures of his home, and land plats of his property expose my client and his family to considerable safety risk. Indeed, as of yesterday, my client has received a credible death threat of being investigated by the federal and state law enforcement. Well, here's the thing. Last I checked, doxing is clearly not a federal crime because there's so many people on TikTok, not TikTok, on YouTube that have absolutely doxed people. So Nolan Wells disappeared. We're going to skip past all of that. Says your assertions about Mr. Edmonston are categorically false and were made by you either with knowledge or their falsity or in reckless disregard for the truth. To date, there are no publicly available facts or evidence supporting your assertions that Mr. Edmonston is a suspect in any crime, is a suspect in Mr. Wells's death, caused or contributed to Mr. Wells's death, engaged in any conduct to obscure or conceal Mr. Wells's death or its circumstances, or engaged in any criminal wrongdoing whatsoever. You have nevertheless repeatedly presented these accusations to the public as fact. Now, see, if you're doing that, you just sound crazy. If you're presenting things that are speculative and, really you don't have proof of as fact, yeah, that's a problem. So meanwhile, your own publications demonstrate that you are speculating on matters for which you possess no firsthand knowledge and no competent evidence. I'm going to have to go check out this person's page to see just what they're talking about. Okay, watching the full panoply of your videos, you have repeatedly, frequently, and erratically change your own theories about what happened, who was responsible, and what criminal codes are implicated, and what efforts are being made to expose or cover up the truth. And so Mr. Edmonston has timely, fully, and voluntarily cooperated with law enforcement throughout their investigation. He sat for interviews and fully disclosed his knowledge concerning the events of July the 4th, 2026. He provided a list of potential witnesses to authorities, including those who were on the boat while he was piloting. He allowed for the inspection of his phone, his boat, and GPS without hesitation and without a warrant. He shared requested videos and photos from that day. He has been an open book with authorities, and at no point have authorities identified him as a person of interest or a suspect in any crime. Well, that's interesting because Tisa Tales reported that he was the main suspect of interest. Wonder if she got one of these. She might be getting one soon. Anyway, the investigative file concerning the death of Nolan Wells has been sealed by the Jackson County District Attorney pending completion of the investigation and to preserve its integrity. Your repeated false assertions of facts concerning Mr. Edmonston's supposed criminal culpability, therefore, are not based upon publicly available investigative findings because none exist. There are figments of your they are figments of your uninformed imagination. And he's calling her stupid, obtuse. Okay, that's a nice way of putting it. And are dangerous. What do y'all think about this so far? Because listen, what do you all have to say about any of it, beloveds? I know you're lying, Marie. You said she took her post down. No, she didn't. She was scared straight. She took her post down for her. I don't have to take my post down, baby, because guess what? I know how to choose my words carefully. See, that's what you don't do. You're never supposed to present your thoughts, feelings, or opinions as facts. And I never do that. How many times do you all hear me say, this is all pure speculation? Okay, I can't substantiate any of it. Okay, so miss me with it, Bart. Anyway, it goes on to say, and see, that's what people do in their clout chasing. They act like they know everything and just spit it all out as facts. So your conduct extends beyond false accusations. You have repeatedly published photographs of Mr. Edmonston's residence, his residential address, land. Wait a minute. I already read this part. Why do they have it in here twice? I'm going to skip past all of that. So, anticipated causes of action. Now, here it is. Your conduct gives rise to multiple causes of action, including but not limited to defamation, libel, and slander, defamation by implication, false light investigation of invasion of privacy, torturous interference with existing and prospective business relationships. So he's not going to be able to get a job. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. I wonder if he doesn't make it to the NBA or to the NFL, is he going to sue her and try to blame it on her? Since they mentioned something about prospective business relationships. So, intentional infliction of emotional distress and negligent infliction of emotional distress. Now, this summary is intended to give you a sense of the anticipated claims that will be pursued in litigation and not to provide an exhaustive listing of the legal theories Mr. Edmonston and his family may pursue. We reserve all rights to assert additional claims. We fully anticipate seeking compensatory damages, presumed damages where authorized by the law, consequential economic damages, emotional distress damages, punitive damages, prejudgment interest where available, costs, and all other relief permitted by law. Ooh, honey. Mr. Edmonston demands that you immediately cease making any further false statements concerning him or his family. To paraphrase Will Smith, keep their names out of your mouth. Did y'all hear it? Did y'all hear that? He's going in, honey. What kind of lawyer is this? He must be from the hood. He said, keep their names out of your mouth, okay? Not that he quoted Will Smith, but let me continue. Change every Facebook, Instagram, or other social media post, no matter the platform, which refers to Mr. Edmonston, to private, locked, or an equivalent setting that removes the material from public view while preserving the content in its original form for evidentiary purposes, he says. Immediately cease publishing or republishing Mr. Edmonston's address, photographs of his residence, land plats, identifying information concerning his property or similar material. How does she even get all this stuff? How does she even get all this man's information like that? I have questions. And so anyway, it says immediately cease encouraging or facilitating harassment directed toward Mr. Edmonston, his family, or his associates. Preserve any or every document, draft, recording, photograph, screenshot, text message, email, direct message, metadata, file, analytics record, monetization record, communications with third parties, and electronically stored information relating in any way to your publications concerning Mr. Edmonston or Mr. Wells's or Mr. Wells. Okay, this demand extends to all devices, cloud accounts, and social media accounts under your possession or control. You should understand that we will be simultaneously putting Meta on notice to preserve all ESI related to your accounts and subpoena the same information. Destruction or alteration of relevant evidence or after receipt of this letter may constitute spoliation and may result in additional sanctions, adverse inferences, or being held in contempt. This is the first time I've ever heard this. To be honest, I've known several people on YouTube specifically, myself included, as I said, that have gotten cease and desist, and never have I ever seen anyone tell them to just put the videos on private or unlisted and then save them. I never heard anybody doing that. Hey, but clearly that's what he's doing. Now, like I said, he's trying to scare people. Although Mississippi law does not require Mr. Edmondson to afford you an opportunity to retract your defamatory statements before pursuing litigation against you, Mr. Edmondson is nevertheless extending that opportunity and will take it into account. Accordingly, we demand that you publish a correction and apology with substantially the following. They're going to tell her how. Listen to this. Honey, I haven't read this, okay? I just got this right before I got on here. Listen, this is what they wanted to say. Honey, now let me ask you all something. How many of you would do this? How many of you would do this? He's asking her or telling her what she has to say. How many of you would do this? Okay, because I darn sure wouldn't want to, honey. Okay, I would have to ask myself, was the risk worth the reward? Okay, I'm sorry. It's all nefarious. Hold on, you guys. Okay, I just find it all interesting. Hold on one second. Okay. Now, with that all being said, I find it all so interesting. True Bronson, he can go to hell. Well, here's what he wants her to say. Pay attention. He says, I previously made, I can't even take this crap seriously. I previously made statements asserting or implying that Bart Edmondson was a suspect in responsible for or otherwise involved in the death of Nolan Wells or in its cover-up. I acknowledged that I had no factual basis for making those assertions. At present, the investigative file concerning Nolan Wells has been sealed pending completion of the investigation, and I possess no evidence establishing that Mr. Edmondson committed any crime, caused or contributed to Mr. Wells's death, or otherwise concealed the cause of his death at any time of my statements. My prior statements concerning Mr. Edmondson were conjecture and speculation devoid of factual support. Cannot. Woo, honey, let me keep going. Okay, hopefully I can get through it. This is all such BS. It says, I retract those statements and apologize to Mr. Edmondson. I would add that since you hold yourself out as a law professor, oh, that's why he's coming for this person then. That's why he's coming for them. They're a law professor. They definitely should have known better, but let me continue. I would add that since you hold yourself out as a law professor, if that is factually inaccurate and or if you are not a licensed attorney, you should include that admission in your apology. Ooh, honey. So if you lie like Cheyenne Bryant, speaking of her, we got to listen to what Mr. Pastor Jamal Bryant said about her. It was all hilarious. Okay, now, it is not unreasonable to infer that some of your audience might believe your defamatory statements are credible because of a perception that you have specialized knowledge about the law. Y'all hear it? Yikes. Mr. Edmondson fully reserves the right to pursue litigation regardless of whether a correction is published. However, your willingness or refusal to promptly correct the record will necessarily be relevant to issues of malice, damages, punitive damages, and mitigation. Unless we receive written confirmation within 5 business days of receipt of your receipt of this letter, and that you have fully complied with each of the foregoing demands, Mr. Edmondson is prepared to pursue all available legal remedies without further notice. I'm calling BS. I'm calling BS. I think that's all we need to read. Don't y'all? What do y'all think about it? I'm calling BS. Because at the end of the day, he does not want discovery, and they would absolutely have to have it in this. Okay, let's continue. Honey. I'm gonna read some more of this, honey. Okay, and then mm, mm, mm. Well, it looks like she might be between caught between a rock and a hard place. So it goes on to say your conduct extends beyond false accusations. I think I read that part already. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Where was I at? I mean, okay, that's where I was. I went past the statement. Okay, let's see what's is that the end of it? I guess that's the end of it, honey. Yep, that's it. So listen, Kimbra Lee. Does anyone know who Kimberly is? Doesn't sound like a black woman. Okay, doesn't sound like a black woman, but hold on. I'm about to look this person up because I'm nosy. I don't know about you all, but that sounds like an Asian person. I'm not saying that it is, but that's what the name sounds like clearly. And I'm about to see who this Kimberly is. Because Kimbra looks like you might be in trouble, honey. You know what I think? If this person actually is a law professor, whatever he was saying, um, I would think that they might try to get her fired or something. Okay, I would think that they would try to get her fired. So then notice how you said, and if you're really not don't have the credentials, basically, then you need to admit that in the apology as well. So she got to sit there and say, "Yes, everyone, I lied. I'm really not a professor." Ah, ooh, that is so hilarious. Hold on, let's see who this is. Kimbra. This is a white lady, honey. This is oh, I know. Oh my goodness. I'll be watching this lady's videos all the time. I have shown you all this lady's videos. That's her name. I even follow her. I just never paid attention to her name. Look at this. Absolutely nefarious. Ah, okay. She's always going in. Well, so what do you all think about this? You all think that, it's a scare tactic? What do you all have to say about it? At the end of the day, it's just like, to me, a scare tactic. Because what are you going to do? Do you know how many people online have actually said things about him at this point? Okay. I mean, me and Lisa Cabrera were talking about this earlier about, the report that I did earlier this morning. We were talking about all the people that have said stuff about him. She said, if you Google his name, it just all comes up. So he really needs to sit down somewhere at this point. But let me just tell you all something. There's something else I want to tell you all before I move on, right? There is a comment. I'm going to have to show you all this comment because this lets me know just how delusional. I mean, we already know how delusional, sadly, that these MAGA minions are, okay? These people are so delusional. It's just beyond comprehension, in my opinion. All right? Hold on. Almost beyond comprehension. So, yeah, Bart, good luck with that. Okay, that's all I got to say. Good luck with that. Now, he did supposedly tell the police about the witnesses. So let's get into it. Nolan Wells' friend, see, that's TMZ being messy. Okay, they just keep referring to these devils as Nolan's friends. Nolan Wells' friend, Bart, says, I handed cops a witness list and everything else. Sure you did. Okay, so Nolan Wells' friend Bart Edmiston Jr. handed investigators a list of potential witnesses and opened up his digital life as authorities probed the 18-year-old's death, according to a new statement from the family. Now, Edmiston said Bart sat for interviews, answered every question, and shared his full recollection of July the 4th. They say he also let investigators view his phone, provided requests, photos, and videos, and allowed inspections of his boat and GPS device, all without any attorney's warrants or hesitation. Listen, that doesn't mean anything to me. They're trying to act like he was just so quick to volunteer this stuff, and they didn't even have to get warrants. All of these, you know why they didn't have to get a warrant? Because all of these people know each other. All of these people know each other. Do you all know? How many of you know? How many of you know how it works in a small town? Somebody put a 1 in the chats. Somebody put a 1 in the chat. Do you all know how? I mean, like, not that you know from hearing about it, but actually have lived through it, have actually had to live in a small town where you've seen how it works. It's just like how, what's that dude's name? Tristan. He said, yeah, everybody from Ocean Springs sit up there with his arms all folded, looking all crazy. Talking about everybody in Ocean Springs, they don't know who they're messing with. We don't even have to we don't even have to like each other. We're still going to defend each other. That's who Ocean Springs is. Sit your silly self down somewhere, token. Okay, sit yourself down somewhere, token. You think those white folks gonna defend you? You might be the next one coming up somewhere. Okay, they'll have a sad story for you. Okay, please. Then they'll be with Rage Batum Tatum going to view where they found you at or saw you at last. He's so ridiculous. Okay, so ridiculous. Okay, yes, dirty pants. That's him. Now, with that all being said, here's the thing. I can tell you how it works. Bottom line is, when everybody knows everybody, let me give you an example. Let me give y'all an example. This is a true story, too. When I was about 19 years old, I had this crazy arse boyfriend, okay? And I was living in this little small town. Now, I wasn't from that. Well, I actually was from there, but I didn't grow up there. And I actually moved down there for maybe a couple of years, okay? So, anywho, this guy I was dating turned out to be crazy when I broke up with him. And so one day he comes to my grandparents' house and I go to the door to see what he wants. And he pulls a gun on me and makes me go with him, okay, through this path and all that. Took me to his house, held me hostage, and had a rifle and everything in the house. Now, of course, my grandparents and everybody called the police. When the police got there, the police knew his family. They knew my family. They knew everybody, right? So when the police got there, they ordered him to come outside and to let me go. So he let me go. But when he came outside, he still had his gun. And they told him to put the gun down, Kevin Kelly, put that gun down. They didn't shoot him. They pulled the gun on him, but they didn't shoot him. So after he put the gun down, they called his mother. She came home from work and was fussing at me about what her son did. And that was just the end of it. Nobody went to jail. I'm so certain nobody went to jail. Was literally kidnapped. And here's the thing. At the age that I was, like 19 or whatever, I really didn't even, at that time, I really didn't even grasp the severity of it. That I was literally kidnapped and held hostage and nobody went to jail. That's how it works in a small town. That's the politics of it. Because first of all, one of his cousins was one of the deputies. Okay. And yeah, look at Ashkan. Ashkan, you should have came and saved the queen. Ashkan said kidnapped and held hostage. Yeah. Okay. He didn't even go to jail, mind you. Okay. And he still lives down there till this day. Low down dirty devil. But anywho, let me continue. So I'm just saying, so I'm just saying that now, if that was a black man in a small town that knew everybody and everybody knew his family and all of that. So just imagine what they can get away with. Okay. Now he wouldn't have gotten away with that had he done that to a white woman, mind you. But I'm saying he was allowed to get away with doing that. So that's a black man in a small town that knows everybody, knows the sheriffs, families, friends with the police department, the sheriffs, and knows the undertaker and all of that. So I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you, that's real crazy. Truth Brown said, not the queen was taken. But anywho. Yep. So anyway, let me continue. So they say his family adds that Bart compiled a witness list, mind you, including passengers aboard his boat. They believe more than 20 people spread across 2 vessels saw him help another boat that was taken on water on Horn Island. These lies are so juicy. These lies are so juicy. Okay, alleged lies, mind you. I'm not trying to get sued, Bart. I'm scared. This is crazy, y'all. Are y'all listening to BS? Are y'all listening? So he gave them a witness list of 20 people, and they saw what exactly? And where were they when people were yelling, damn it, Bart, check his chest. Nolan's about to die. Where were these 20 people when that was all going on? Okay. Yeah. He was pulling their boat or he was in the same boat? Because it sounded a whole lot like they were all in the same boat. Anyway, according to the statement, Bart boarded the distressed vessel, remained its transom plug, or removed its transom plug, and briefly towed it so the accumulated water could drain. Okay, so maybe that would explain why he was on the boat. That's their story, and they're sticking to it. So he boarded the vessel, removed its transom. Yeah, and didn't Warren say that to Tatum? I think he did. Removed its transom plug and briefly towed it so it accumulated water. The accumulated water could drain. I still don't believe it because here's the thing. First of all, I don't believe anything these people say. But also, remember what I told you all? If the water was up to the battery and all of that, okay, the boat would not be operable, and it darn sure would have been able to take them back and forth. And how did y'all make it to Fort Bayou's boat launch twice? After all of that, please miss me with it. I don't believe a word of it. Now, the family insists that Bart has never been identified as a suspect and flatly denies he killed Nolan, witnessed his death, or helped to cover it up. Now, as was reported, Bart has retained attorney Russell Latino as online accusations and threats intensify. I thought they said he had one threat that was credible, but now threats intensify. Ooh, please play the victim. Now, the family says Bart has been doxxed, with one online user allegedly posting photos of their home, their address, land records, and employment information. And so they talk about the cease and desist that has been sent, the preservation letter, and all of that. The Edmondsons say they're also working with the FBI, Mississippi Attorney General, excuse me, U.S. Attorney's Office, and local authorities to determine whether cyberstalking laws were broken and address threats against Bart's life. Listen, here's the thing: there is no cyberstalking. Are they that dumb? Cyberstalking laws, that has nothing to do with people creating content online unless the person is or someone is specifically targeting you, and saying things about you and making like personally, like directing them personally to you. Okay, getting your DMs, sending you messages, emailing you. Somebody cyber stalked me when I first got on YouTube. I had to call the FBI, some racist demon. Okay, but with that all being said, this is not cyber stalking. Someone doing content, I would be curious to know as to how she got pictures of his house and all that stuff. Because here's the thing: if she got those pictures, anybody could get them. And I just really think that they're putting 20 on 10 and actually trying to make themselves out to be such victims. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to make themselves out to be such victims because they want pity and sympathy, and they want the focus to be on them instead of Nolan. Okay, and it's really annoying. You see, where is the outrage and the outcry from the FBI and the governor and the attorney general for Nolan's family, for his parents being threatened? What about that? Hold on, because the attorney general had the nerve to come out and say something. Hold on. And it was just a scare tactic to me. Hold on. Said something about threats to law enforcement. Now law enforcement's being threatened too over the Nolan Wells case. These people play the victim more than anybody. Okay. Here it is right here. Posted about 10 hours ago. Came on the news. It was a brief report. It's only like 40 seconds long. But here's what they basically say. Here it is right here. The AG warns. Mississippi AG warns about threats toward law enforcement working Nolan Wells' case. So where did anybody threaten law enforcement? Where did anybody threaten law enforcement? I have several questions. Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch is warning those who are threatening law enforcement working on Nolan Wells' case. See, let me tell y'all something. Nobody is threatening them. Who would be threatening them? See, this is them trying to act as though Black people are out here threatening everybody. We don't even threaten people like that. We don't even threaten people like that. When have we ever, okay, collectively gone around here threatening them? Now, if we were going to threaten them, I would think that that would have been when we see all these black folks hanging from trees. FYI, I heard that another black woman was found swinging in a tree. Now, I looked it up, didn't see any information. Not surprised because they usually don't cover this in the media. But someone talked about it on TikTok and they just did a brief thing. They didn't have much details, but they said that's what happens. Now, I'll update you as I get more information. So, anyway, goes on to say that Fitch's office issued, I would like to change that F to a B. Fitch's office issued a statement warning that any efforts to intimidate, disrupt, or interfere in the case will be taken seriously, as they should. What are you telling us for? Saying that I am proud of the professionalism with which our law enforcement, district attorney, and other local leaders are approaching this tragic case. During an open investigation, it is vital to the cause of justice that everyone respects the integrity of the process. Efforts to intimidate, disrupt, or interfere with the work and threats to anyone's well-being will be taken seriously, as they should. Again, I agree. But who's making threats? I want to hear recordings. I want to see the messages. I want to see proof because I don't believe anybody's threatening any damn body down there. That's what I don't believe. Okay, we know who the people are that make the threats, and that's the MAGA minions. Okay. Uh, anyway, goes on to say Jackson County authorities, and listen, they're talking about everybody's damn threats except for the Onesleys. They're talking about everybody's threats and what they're going to do and this and that, except for the Onesleys. They haven't said a darn thing about no one's family being threatened. Okay, just pay attention to that. Devils. Anyway, Jackson County authorities say that Wells was on Horn Island. Okay, we already know that story. Now they're going to talk about the preliminary autopsy, all the stuff that we already know. But I just find it interesting. Okay? And then I've sat here and played the whole reverse Uno card. That's what they did. They played the whole reverse Uno card. They done flipped the entire script. Okay? Instead of being suspects, okay, to the internet world, they're now trying to be the victims. So we're supposed to be concerned and worried about them. I'm not. Okay, nobody's threatening any of these people as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, if anybody is, it's people who look like them. Black people don't make threats like that. We're not going to tell you we're going to. It's the thing. Black people are smart enough to know if we're going to do something, why would we tell you? I would never threaten anybody ever. You'll never see it coming. That's how I operate if I want to do something nefarious, okay? Common sense. The only fools that make threats are MAGA minions because they think they're so big and bad. They're so dumb, okay? That's so dumb. Black people don't make threats. When? Who? Ever. All right. That's crazy. I've never made a threat in my life. Why would I? Because if you've done something to piss me off to that point, I'm not going to tell you nothing. Okay. Now, I might give you a warning. I might tell you don't F around and find out. Something like that or whatever. But I'm not going to threaten you because to me, a threat is just a forewarning. It's just putting you on notice. And that's stupid because if somebody threatens me, you know what I'm going to be thinking? Yeah, that's all I'm saying. So make that make sense. Like I said, I don't think anybody's threatening them. Like I said, if it is, it's their own people. But hold on, let's talk about how stupid some of the MAGA minions are. I just happened to be reading that article from TMZ earlier, this different article. Excuse me, or maybe it was this article. Anyway, it was an article about Bart. So it was probably this one, but now listen to this. This is the message. And I thought it was so stupid because MAGA is stupid. So clearly. But listen to this. This fool named Sammy Foldham says his friends need to quit explaining themselves. It has been proven at this point that the boy was drunk at least, went for a swim and drowned in the Gulf. First of all, it's golf, Gull, not golf, like you're playing golf. Sad, sad day, but accidents happen on the water all the time. Race never played any part in it. Okay, race never played any part. And that's why Ben Crump has disappeared last few days because he's off now looking at other cases. He can turn racist. Hopefully the friends sue everyone. Hashtag justice for white folks. I'm telling you, they play the victims so well. After this terrible display of racism by Ben Crump and the Wells family. See, this is what people like them, they're sick. they are really sick. This is how they really think. They really think that makes sense? Justice for white people? When did white people ever need justice? Somebody tell me a date. Okay, when have they ever needed justice? Because they always get justice 9 times out of 10. When they don't, it's a very rare occasion. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Sitting there playing a whole victim. And then this fool sitting here talking about Ben Crump is racist. See, let me tell you all something. Let me tell you all something. Let me tell you all something. The thing is this. These people act like they're not even acting. No, these people, and I'm talking about MAGA millions specifically, when we complain about their racism, that makes us racist to them. How stupid do you have to be to think that way? When we want justice for one of our lives lost, and we think that a white person did it, and we want justice, they think that is racist. That is so stupid. Who's that big of a fool? Well, clearly MAGA. Okay, clearly MAGA. Now I want you all to pay attention because there was a MAGA fool in here earlier. I think it was on the first broadcast this morning. And here's how stupid they were. They were sitting here saying that we hate white people or something stupid like that. First of all, there was white people in my chat, at least one, that's in here all the time, basically. But not only that, I literally shouted out the good white folk because I do that often. So, but that doesn't matter as long as you don't like them. Well, MAGA, no, I don't like your asses. Okay, and I never will. You are worse than your ancestors to me. Okay, MAGA is worse than their ancestors. I want you all to pay attention. It's true. It's true. I know y'all have to know, right? Now, you may be thinking, well, no, they can't be worse than their ancestors because all the stuff their ancestors did in slavery. Oh, MAGA would absolutely do all the same things and worse if they could and get away with things. But they can't get away with doing all of that stuff because we're not going to have it. Not that the laws will protect us, but if they tried that, that would be the day. Okay? That would be the day. So they already know that. But the bottom line is they do all this other same stuff that their ancestors did. Okay? And then some. And you see, now they actually have more power than their ancestors had. They have more corrupt ways and systems and all of these things to make things much worse for us. Now, I'm not talking about slavery. But at the end of the day, they're still doing the same things. People are still getting lynched. And no justice. Just like back then, black people got lynched, no justice. Okay? And don't let them ever tell you, because they love to try to say, that the way you dress and things like that. It has nothing to do with the way you dress. And I saw a black guy doing a video one time and I was so annoyed with him because he was saying, well, black people shouldn't be walking around with baggy pants and hoodies and all this and that. First of all, I told him that black people were literally hung in their uniforms after fighting in the white men's war. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. If they don't like black people, they don't care what you are wearing. It's like that joke that they told, and I believe it was on Burning, Mississippi Burning, when Gene Hackman told this joke. He said that his dad used to say, or his dad, his friend were telling a joke, and he said something about, what do you call a black person that's like a janitor? I can't remember. It was a lesser paying job, right? I think it was a janitor or something. What do you call a black man that's a janitor? And the guy said, what? He said, a jigger. He said, what do you call a black man that's a doctor? He said, what? He said, a jigger. Just to let you know, they don't care what status you have, what kind of credentials you think you possess, and how much money you make. You're still that to the racist ones. That's what you still are to them. They don't care. And we should all know that, because when we look around at these celebrities, if they get out of pockets, we see how they get chin checked real quick and put back in their place, or they go through a humiliation ritual. Okay? But these people right here, these young men from Ocean Springs, they're the victims now. How does that work? How does that even work? Okay, it's just annoying for me. It is absolutely annoying. Anyway, with that all being said, let's talk about this story, because I'm about to be out of here in a minute, you guys. But I want to talk about this story where they shot. Yeah, that's right. They killed a 17-year-old black teen over a water bottle. And then, guess what they said? One of the cops said that they think it was suicide by cop. And basically said that he pulled that water bottle because they claimed the water bottle was in his waistband. And hey, I've never seen anybody walking around with a water bottle in their waistband. Maybe hanging on something tied to their waist. I've seen that with women or men. But yeah, said he pulled it out of his waistband and they thought it was a gun that he was pulling. So they shot him. And now they said they thought it was suicide by cop. So he wanted to die that day. That's what they're trying to say. Now, all three of the cops involved, I believe there was three, they're on paid leave. 17-year-old fatally shot by police officers responding to report of armed suspect had a water bottle in his waistband, not a gun. Body camera footage released by Austin Police Department shows the teen lifting his shirt and reaching toward his waistband before three officers opened fire. Now, police officers in Austin, Texas responded to a 911 call reporting an armed teenager, and minutes later, a 17-year-old boy was dead. The Austin Police Department, APD, said in a press conference or a press release that officers responded to a call reporting a person who was armed with a gun near a park, okay, at the 10,100 block of Baden Lane at around 3:51 a.m. local time on Friday, July the 24th, okay, and they say APD Chief Lisa Davis said this at a news conference on Friday that the caller said the person had a handgun in his waistband and was brandishing it. If this call was really made and it's true, someone likely lied on him. Y'all know some of these people are so low down and nefarious, okay? Someone likely lied on him because we've seen how they lie. Remember, what was the Karen's name that was in the park at the Rumble? Mm-hmm. With the bird watcher by the name of Christian Cooper. Remember that? She sat up there and lied on that man right there. We all saw the video. She sat up there and lied. There's a man attacking me and my dog. What does he look like? He's a black man. He's African American. Yeah, she sat there and lied. Anyway, there seems to be a kid and it looks like he has a gun. That's the same thing that happened to Tamir Rice. Y'all remember that? Tamir Rice was on the playground with a toy gun, and somebody called the cops and said, there's somebody out across the street at the playground with a gun. It looks like a toy gun, but so if it looks like a toy gun, why the hell are you on the phone with 911? And when the police got there, if they saw that it was a person on the playground, because Tamir looked like a child. He didn't look like a grown person. He didn't look like a teenager. He was 12 and he looked 12. So when you saw this child on the playground, it didn't dawn on you that by the fact that the caller said it looks like a toy gun, that it might have been. They shot him within 13 seconds. This sounds like the same story. Anyway, it goes on to say that when officers arrived at the park, they approached the person who matched the caller's description. Officers attempted to de-escalate the encounter by directing the person to keep his hands up. Davis said the person then very quickly, very suddenly lifted his sweatshirt with one hand and reached into his waistband with the other. Police body camera footage released by the APD shows the moment when the person reached toward his waistband at approximately 4:02 a.m. The three officers discharged their firearms, striking the individual. The person, identified by police as a 17-year-old black male, was pronounced dead at the scene at 4:25 a.m. per the APD. I don't believe anything the cops say. Police later determined that the 911 call was made from the 17-year-old's phone. From the 17-year-old's phone? Hold on. What? From the 17-year-old's phone, and Davis said investigators believe the teen was the caller. Davis said those findings led investigators to believe the shooting was potentially a suicide by cop. The police chief also said the object in the teen's waistband was a water bottle, not a gun. Now, I'm sorry. This sounds crazy as hell. So here's the thing. In order for me to take this seriously or even believe what they're saying, I'm going to have to hear the 911 call with him calling. Because you're not going to piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Okay, that's what you're not going to do. Okay, that's what you're not going to do. Okay, I'm going to need to hear the recording of the 911 call. So anyway, that's what he said. Addressing the fatal shooting, Davis said officers are often required to make life or death decisions in seconds. This was a rapidly evolving incident. Our commitment now is to examine the facts, the evidence, and the officer's actions and the applicable law. Now, a young man lost his life. I cannot imagine the pain and the grief that the family is going through. And I want them to know that I am thinking about them and I am very sorry about this accident. Sure, you are. The 3 officers involved in the shooting have been placed on paid administrative leave, according to the APD's release, and the department's conducting both a criminal investigation and an internal investigation on the incidents. Police have not released the team's name pending a positive identification by the Travis County Medical Examiner's Office. What do y'all think about this? I don't believe anything. Like I told you all, I need to hear the audio. Said he's the one that called? Yeah, sure. Okay. He may have called for help. And then they came there and killed him because that's what they've done before too. Okay, that's what they've done before too. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up his picture. I saw this story on Instagram. That's where I got the information from. This article I had not read. Tinkled over water bottle. Hold on, beloveds. Over a darn water bottle. Hold on. Is this the same person? Hold on, beloveds. Austin police fired more than 20 rounds, killing an unarmed black teen. 20 rounds. And there was a water bottle, and y'all shot somebody 20 times. Like, this is all crazy. Here's the body cam footage. They issue a trigger warning. Hold on. Let me make sure this is on a news report, a news site, because I'm not trying to get any copyright issues with ScrewTube. But here's the young man's picture right here. Handsome young man. It's so sad. I just don't believe them. That sounds crazy. Here he is right here. Looks very studious. And like I said, I don't believe anything the devil say. Okay, at all. Let's go to this report from CBS Austin. This is definitely a news channel. Hold on. Let me just put that down. Let me close out some of these tabs, beloveds. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to share.
You doing all right? You doing all right? Hey, keep your hands up.
Austin police are releasing new information on a fatal shooting this morning that they're describing as a suicide by cop. Early this morning, officers responded to reports of an armed individual in northeast Austin. Minutes later, a 17-year-old was dead, and investigators say no gun was found. So how are officers trained to make life or death decisions when they believe someone is reaching for a weapon? CBS Austin Farrah Walton joins us live from where the shooting took place tonight. And Farrah, what have you learned about the department's protocols?
Well, Walt, the scene is all cleared up now, but police say the initial 911 call to the shooting took place in just about 10 minutes. And investigators say they believe the teen was possibly trying to get police to shoot him. So we went over the released body camera footage with a researcher who studies police practices to get a better understanding of what officers are trained to do in situations like this.
You doing all right? Hey, keep your hands up.
Those few vital seconds are now at the center of multiple investigations. According to the Austin Police Department, officers were responding to reports of an armed individual in the area. They believed the 17-year-old black male had a gun as he lifted his shirt and reached towards his waist.
They seem to correctly understood that to call officers and tell them someone has a gun and then to motion for their waistband is likely to lead to officers deploying deadly force.
Police later determined the teen had called 911 himself. Investigators say no gun was found. Instead, they say a water bottle was tucked into his waistband.
Officers are often required to make life or death decisions in seconds. This was a rapidly evolving incident.
Police Chief Lisa Davis, brought up that this might have been a suicide by police situation. If that does turn out to be the case, are officers trained to recognize those situations?
Officer will receive some training in mental health awareness. I think it remains to be seen what sort of training these officers had. They receive far more training on actually just assuming that individuals that they encounter pose a potentially lethal threat.
Michael Sierra Arevalo is a researcher at the University of Texas who studies police practices. He says investigators will likely look at the whole encounter, not just the moment officers opened fire.
And I noted the officers fired well over a dozen rounds. There was a pause and then more rounds were shot. I think what's going to end up happening here is a question as to whether all of those shots were reasonable.
And per department policy, all three of the APD officers are on paid administrative leave while the investigations continue. Police also say they are waiting on identification from the Travis County medical examiner before releasing the victim's name. We'll keep you updated as this investigation unfolds. Reporting live in Northeast Austin, Farrah Walton, CBS Austin News.
I'm Dave.
So anyway, there you have it. I find it all so egregious. How about y'all? I'm about to be out of here, but before I do, let me just go to this Pastor Jamal Bryant. Pastor Jamal Bryant. Y'all know he had Cheyenne Bryant on his show, right? Not that long ago. And so hold on. And so I think I showed you all the video where she came out the other day. She came out with that darn that collegiate robe on, okay? Like she got a PhD. Hold on. I think Cheyenne just wants to be back in the topic of conversation. Okay, that's what I think. Hold on, I can't remember where I saved it at. Hold on, beloveds. I know where to find it. Let me just go to TikTok real quick. I'm sure it's there. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Yeah, here it is. I should have known. Do you all like Pastor Jamal Bryant? Because I do. Hold on, let me see here. Once in the chat. Once in the chat if you like Pastor Jamal Bryant. He's hilarious to me. I like him. I don't care what y'all think. They be hating on him and his wife as far as I'm concerned. Like, he might be a little sketchy. I mean, I really believe most pastors are. But nonetheless, hold on. Like, so everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. Truth Brown said he has his moments. Yeah, we all do, beloved. Tell you one thing, I like him better than I ever like Eddie Long, honey. Okay, let's get into it.
I have to do this. It's ridiculous. Over a month ago, I came to you and apologized for platforming Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. I felt I had a responsibility considering my sister is the former president of the American Psychological Association, one of the youngest to ever hold that position. Not soon after that, I received an email, a cease and desist, not to mention her name or to speak to the controversy. I scanned down to the bottom, and it was not from a lawyer, not from an attorney, not anybody who was barred. It was from Cheyenne Bryant herself. I said, I'm going to walk away. I do not want to be a part of black on black crime. So I let it go, never addressed it, never mentioned it again until I received this email on yesterday from Dr. Jaquel Pitts, who is serving as the president of Indiana Southwest Christian University, who said to me in writing that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant has just received her PhD in theocentric psychology. I did a quick Google search. Indiana, the whole state, does not recognize Indiana Southwestern Christian University, is not registered. The president claimed that the degree is in theocentric psychology. Again, I didn't even use Claude or ChatGPT. Google, the cheapest one, says that theocentric psychology shifts a person from ego to universal thought. I don't even know what that means. The president goes on to say that they cannot provide any transcripts. I send a one-line email. Who are y'all accredited by? And he sent me back this. Accreditation Religioso. I don't know what this means. But ladies and gentlemen, the last line that I've highlighted for you is no transcript can be provided. I'm not going back and forth with y'all. The president of Indiana Southwest Christian University doesn't even have a college email. Jaquel Pitts is on Gmail. So if you want the transcript, email him directly, and maybe he'll be able to give you answers I'm not able to provide. Y'all, let's shut the case on Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. The only robes I want to see people in are the 500 kids who are trying to go to Howard and accredited school. God bless you.
Okay, y'all heard it. Hold on, who is this? John Johnson says, you guys have done nothing but lie. What is ABS supposed to stand for? Lie about ish? What does that stand for, beloved? Well, here's the thing, John Johnson. Only thing I can tell you about that is, if you feel that all we do is lie, and I don't know if you're talking about just me or me in the chat or me and other content creators, but nonetheless, if that's what you feel, why would you be in my chat? Because do you think I care if you think that I'm lying about anything? I don't have to lie about anything. I can say what I think and what I feel, and that's not lying. Okay, there's a difference. You see, if I sit here and give my opinion and I say that I think this or I think that or I feel this way or this is how I see it, that's not lying because that's the truth. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. That's what I think. Okay. Now, just because you don't like my opinion doesn't mean that it's a lie. You sound delusional, John Johnson. With that all being said, you're out of here. Have the day you and your ancestors deserve. Okay? Have the day you and your ancestors deserve. All right? I don't know why these trolls just keep trying it. Rachel said busted again. I don't know why these trolls keep trying it. Hold on. Just Anticipate said John Johnson was wig number 40. Naima Ross said, was that Bart? Bart's that you? I absolutely cannot. Anita said, I get under their skin. Oh, I know it, and I love it. I love it. The thing is that makes them even more upset is that they cannot get under mine, and they know it, okay? You see, all of that crap that they talk about us and say is funny as hell to me because I know better. I know better, okay? You can call me a jigger with an N. You call whatever you want, baby, but I know who and what you are. So miss me with it. And again, every accusation is confession. Okay. Y'all know all the stuff they say about us. That's still MAGA millions. How about it? Have at it. And there's another thing too. You know, I was scrolling on TikTok just the other night. And by the way, I heard someone else calling them MAGA minions. So let the record reflect that that is a catchphrase that I came up for you guys, MAGA minions. And now other people are starting to use it. And I absolutely love it. Okay. So from this point on, you're going to likely be MAGA minions to everybody that sees and views you and thinks like me. How do you like those apples? Okay. Coming here talking greens. All y'all do is lie. It's always lies to them when we don't say or think about things the way they do, specifically as it pertains to race relations. I couldn't care less what a MAGA minion thought. Okay. And it's so interesting because they always seem to think that telling us something is going to hurt our feelings. Or saying that, you know, something negative about us or telling us how they feel about us is going to hurt our feelings because you called me a liar. Please miss me with it, okay? The day I ever give a half of a damn about what a MAGA million thinks, put me out of my misery. Because that's when you'll know that I've lost my mind. And that's my most prized possession, okay? So if I lose it, just take me on up out of here. Because, okay, I cannot with MAGA. All right, under any circumstances. And then someone said the other day, and I'm going to close after this, but someone said the other day that, you know, we're going to have to, how do they put it? We're going to have to unify. All of us all over America, we're going to have to all unify, including with MAGA. I said, who? What? MAGA? I will never. Okay. I would never. And nor should any of us. First of all, yeah, I could unify and be allies with the good white folk, but MAGA, nah, that's not going to ever work. Because first of all, we could never trust them. Okay. When you know people don't like you just because of who and what you are, you haven't done anything to them, but they just don't like. Why would you ever trust them? Why would you ever trust them? Now, here's the thing, though. I will say this: if I was out, well, speaking of that, that just reminded me of a video that I'm going to show you all tomorrow. But I was going to say, if I was put in a certain predicament, have you all ever seen that movie, The Crazy Eights? Is that the name of it? The movie with Samuel Jackson. Put a one in the chat if you all seen that movie. I know I'm not saying the name of it right. It's the something eight. Hold on. You all need to watch that movie if you haven't seen it. Because that movie was about a bunch of people who didn't like each other. Samuel Jackson didn't like white folk in that movie, but somehow he got into a situation where there was nothing around him but white folk. He was the only black person. And so he had to make an ally with one or two of them to survive. Okay, so imagine that. And I'm not talking about Django. Okay. What's the name of that movie? Let me see here. It was called The Hateful Eight. Yeah, The Hateful Eight. Somebody said the Grateful Eight. No, it's the Hateful Eight. That's what it is. I knew it was a nefarious word, okay? Not grateful. The Hateful Eight. That movie was good. It was kind of gruesome, but it was good because it really just showed you how sometimes you just can't make it on your own. Sometimes you have to form allies with the most unlikeliest. I'm losing my voice. Sometimes you have to form allies with the most unlikeliest of allies. Now, in that kind of situation, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Okay, that's what I'm always doing. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, but at the same time, I'm doing whatever I have to do. I'm gonna watch my back. Okay, especially if I'm in a predicament where I gotta work around with MAGA. Lord, I hope that never happens because it would probably turn out just like the Hateful Eight. You all need to watch that movie if you hadn't seen it. It's lessons in there, okay? Anyway, with that all being said, okay, with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this night. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, and never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, keep the Most High first in your lives. And I'll see you all bright and early in the morning. So until next time, beloveds, peace.
Sing it for me, Royals. Sing that. Sing out loud. Queen. Yeah. Queen Ahmadiyyah, Shakur. Queen Ahmadiyyah, Shakur, Shakur. Queen Ahmadiyyah, Shakur, Shakur. Listening. Just pay respect. Queen of receipts, queen of receipts, teaser, the lady of lies. We here for the queen, you here for lies. All hail the mighty queen. Dropping receipts, you know you heard it here first. Queen, 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 yeah, you know what it is. Queen of receipts. No, nobody drop it like the queen. Oh, be aware, tease her ass out here lying. Just be prepared. No, girl, you didn't hear that shit till the queen said it. You don't have receipts for nothing. Stories we just stacking scenes, receipts on receipts, paper trail clean. You talking, we documenting different regime. Oh.